Hey ladies, it's Allie. It's Thursday live at 5 p.m. Central, and I am so excited to be on here tonight with you all. And I thought I would do a little bit something different. You know, I'm always teaching on weight loss and hormones and all that stuff, and that's really important. And I'm kind of going to touch on that a little bit. But first, I wanted to tell you, hi, Anne Marie. I wanted to tell you all about a story about myself. And I don't know if it's relatable to you or not, but I just want to share a little bit about my life. And so you guys kind of know where I came from and how I have changed my life since I was 50 years old, 51 years old. And just to let you know a little bit about me, I grew up on the hills of Ohio. I now live in Tennessee, but I grew up in the hills of Ohio. We were a very poor family. Coaltown, Jackson County, Ohio. It was just, it's a beautiful place. I get to go home and see my parents here in a couple weeks, so that's going to be really nice. But Jackson County, Ohio is where I'm from, and we just grew up just kind of struggling. You know, my stepdad was a concrete man, so you can imagine in the wintertime, I mean, it was rough. He was a concrete man and there were no jobs. And so I remember, you know, living in a single wide trailer. And I'm going to say this, I hope it doesn't bother my mom. My mom is on this channel, in this group. But we lived in a single wide trailer, and the heater vents were broke out, and there was holes in the floor. I remember my friend Charlotte was going to come over, and Mom told me, she said, well, when she gets here, you need to tell her not to step on the heater vents, or because her leg would go through the floor, right? And so that's kind of where I grew up. And I remember seeing my mom pray for food. We got government assistance. And, you know, my parents, it was a real struggle for my parents and for us as kids, hand-me-down clothes and all that stuff. And in school, I was just this geeky. Oh, we were poor, but I was also very geeky and very lanky and just awkward and just dressed awful. I didn't know how to dress. I still have a really hard time putting clothes and things together. My daughter will help me every now and then. Thank God for that, my saving grace. I don't know how to shop because I just never have done it. So to go shopping and put clothes together is really, really hard for me. It's really overwhelming. And my husband, I'll just walk out. I'll say, I'm done, gotta go. And I can't figure out what looks right together, those kind of things. But when I was growing up, we were very, very poor. I was shy. I was so shy. Oh my gosh. And I was bullied at school, along with one of my brothers, very bullied at school. And I had no self-esteem, and just riding the bus was complete and utter torment. I hated the bus because it was just a bad experience every day, on the way to school, on the way home, you know, bullied. And I remember it wasn't a great, perfect life. None of us have a perfect life usually. There's some people that have a great, perfect childhood, but mine was not. And I had very low self-esteem, you know, a lot of abuse at school. It wasn't great at home. We had struggles like most people, maybe more than most people. We had some big struggles. I don't want to go into that, but at the age of 13, I remember wanting to commit suicide. I had no self-confidence whatsoever in myself. I didn't have self-confidence in my schoolwork, in myself personally, in anything about me. As I went through school, I was never asked to one school dance, not junior, senior prom, nothing like that. Never went to anything like that. And just had never dated really a guy. Never went on a date. By the time I graduated high school, had I gone on any dates? I don't think so. I don't think I had even gone on one date ever. Out of high school now, I did start dating a little bit. My self-confidence, though, was so low. And to let you know how my life went, I didn't really choose a boy to marry. That sounds crazy, but there was a guy who liked me. I ended up marrying him. And I ended up getting pregnant, and that's why I got married. He didn't ask me to marry him, and we just thought, because of religious reasons, you know, that you get pregnant in the 80s, you get married, and that's what happened. And I had never experienced that head over heels kind of love. Now, I will say I loved my ex-husband in a way, but not in the way that I should have. I still care about him. He's a father of my children, but we were married almost 31 years, and it really was never what it should have been, you know? When I was 50 years old, I decided that I didn't think I'd ever find love. I mean, I was married and in a bad relationship. I was a musician. You guys might remember me from television and singing and traveling the United States, and it was a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, my confidence was still very low. It's always been very low in myself. I've never believed in myself. It's been a very big struggle. Just walking into a room was a struggle. I knew that people would turn and look at me. My face would just turn fire red, and I'd just be embarrassed. It would just happen automatically, you know. And that's the way I was for many, many years. And that started, my personality did change over the years, but that's the kind of person I was. So when I was 50, everything in my life seemed to be failing. My music career was failing. My marriage was failing. I'd been married almost 31 years. I wasn't the greatest parent by any means whatsoever. I was just miserable in my own skin, and I took it out on everybody. I started drinking at night, and I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I was drinking every night till I was drunk, sitting on my bed, passing out in my day clothes. Beside my ex-husband, it was not good choices, to say the least, right? And that was my life. And I decided that, I remember that I had a wake-up call. I was sitting there with Jack Daniels and whiskey on my bed. My ex-husband was playing video games, watching TV at the same time. And that's just his nightly ritual. And I sat there, and the thought crossed my head, through my head, and I'll never forget it. It was like a wake-up call, and it was, I spoke to myself, and it just went through my mind just this fast. You can live this life from a nursing home. And at that point, I knew, I pictured, when that went through my mind, I pictured myself, for some reason, on my deathbed. And I could see myself laying like in a hospital type bed. And all the regrets that I would have had, I felt that day. And it hit me. And I knew that I had to change my life. I knew that I had to change my life, that I didn't want to go to my grave not feeling the passion of love. Although I cared about him and loved him in a way, I never had that passion, and I wanted to be a better person. And I decided I was going to change my life. And honestly, it was drastic. It was sink or swim. I decided to walk away from everything in my life, except for my children. I walked away from everything in my life, from my music career, my home. I took a little bit of clothes with me. I didn't take any of the cars. I borrowed a car off my son. I borrowed his work car. And I left, and I had nothing. I didn't own a cup, a pillow, a blanket, nothing. And I left, and it was sink or swim time. And I looking back, it was very reckless, but to me, it seemed the only way to break free. It's like I had compromised so many things in my life for so many years that I just felt stuck. And I couldn't feel stuck. I felt dead on the inside. I didn't want to be, falling asleep drunk every night and just passionless and just angry and just sad and just broken feeling. And, it just broke my heart that I had never felt that kind of affection and love from a man. I mean, he was a nice person in a lot of ways, but it wasn't right. It wasn't the right relationship. And so I got up, and that was it. I went to my mom's for a little bit, and I had been talking to a guy that I was interested in. And I just was so interested in this man. He was inspiring, but I honestly thought I would never fall in love. I thought love was never in the books for me. I even told my kids I would never get remarried, all the stuff. And here I was falling in love with a man before I was actually completely out of the other relationship, which, you know, for me, I'm sitting there going, holy cow, this is wrong. So there's all the guilt that goes with it, the condemnation of my own that was with it. And I just, it was a crazy whirlwind. But I will tell you this. While it was crazy and times were tough, and I applied for jobs, and I told you guys some of that. I applied for every job I could get. This is right before COVID, well, a year and a half before COVID probably, and no one would hire me. I remember the day I got a reply from Lowe's, and you know, I was a musician for many years, and I traveled and sang. Even though I had been a branch manager of a bank before, I had managed, you know, Little Caesars before, I had done all these things when I was younger. That didn't count anymore because I had been in the music world for so many years and on television. It did not matter to people that they didn't even want to hire me at Lowe's. So I remember getting that email, and I remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even qualified to work at Lowe's, you know? And here I am 50 years old. And in my mind, I kept thinking, I'm going to be a greeter at Walmart when I'm 70. It's like I could see myself. And while that's not a horrible thing, I just felt like it was just, I was broken, that I had no confidence in myself at all. And I remember my dad telling me, if you want a job, you know, he said, there wasn't online back then. I was probably 16, 17, 18 years old, something in there, somewhere in there. My dad said, if you want a job, you walk into the place, you're ready to work, you're dressed in your work clothes, and you tell them you want a job. So after being turned down for so many jobs, I saw that Kroger was hiring for ClickList, and I just walked in there. They were paying $11.25. I was 51 years old. I walked in, I'm 55 now, and I asked for the manager, and she is also in this group right now, which is so cool, in Bod Babes. And she hired me on the spot. And she took me straight to her office and sat me down and let me start going through everything. And I was so grateful to make $11.25. I didn't have any insurance, didn't have anything like that. But she gave me a chance. And I really appreciated it. And from there, you know, my life has completely turned around. But I wanted to talk to you guys today for a little bit about that, because I had no confidence in myself. And today I'm 55 years old, and I have the love of my life. I have the relationship that I dreamed about having. I get to talk to women like you and help people all over the world change their health and their bodies. And I want you to know that no matter where you came from, no matter what you've done, even if you feel like you just made mistakes, no matter what you've gone through, no matter if you were raped or abused, I have been those things. You can rise above it. But here's the thing that beats us down so many times. Our belief in our potential. Because of our belief in ourselves, it limits us. Let me tell you kind of how the cycle goes and how it went for me. And maybe it's gone this way for you. And this has to do, believe it or not, even with weight loss. But if our belief in our potential in a certain area, including weight loss, including relationships, including our jobs, in every area of our life that we can think of, if it is low, if we think that we aren't good enough, if there's something about us that maybe we should have went to school longer, all these things in our mind, we didn't come from money, we can't start our own business, we don't have any money, all those kind of thoughts. Who would ever want to listen to me? What do I have to give? I'm not talented. I've had all those thoughts. I went through all those things. See, my belief in myself was so small. It was. I didn't have confidence in myself. You know, I thought I'll never find love like that. I would have never in my lifetime thought of starting a fitness business after the age of 50. Is that nuts? I've not been a fitness guru ever. I have not had any. I have failed at diets again and again and again and again. I am a failure. Right here. This girl is a failure. But this time something different in my life happened. But we believe, if we have a small belief in our potential, here's what happens. When we have small belief in our potential to succeed, even at weight loss, even at getting a better job, even at a better relationship or whatever it might be, we put in little effort because we don't believe that something better can happen to us. Our self-confidence in ourselves is not there. So we don't try as hard. We don't make ourselves take massive action. We just kind of go in with the belief that I want to do this, but we don't go at it 1,000% or 100% because in our minds, we truly believe that we can't achieve what someone else has achieved. I have women that come to me and say, Allie, I want to look like you. First of all, that blows my mind. I was the abused kid in school that was bullied and that not one person asked on one date, okay? And I've worked really hard on myself, but it blows my mind, first of all, that someone would say that. And what a compliment. That really makes me feel so thankful. Thank you for the sweetness. But here's the thing. I didn't believe I could get there either. I didn't believe in myself enough, but I was so desperate this time to change my life. That's what the difference was. I had given up on myself time and time and time and time again. But this time, I was falling in love with a man. And this time, I decided he is in the best shape of his life. He just won Mr. Tennessee. And I'm sitting there thinking, holy cow, I got to bring my A game. I'm fighting for myself. I'm going to change this. And, you know, with the weight since from age 45 to 51, I fought it, man. Perimenopause. But this time I thought, I've got to win it. And I studied and I put in the work. And I just thought, if Wade could do it, he's my husband, if he could change his body and his life, then I could do it. I just knew he was going to help me. He believed in me and I was going to do it. And I did. And from that, people all around us, his friends, started saying, what are you guys doing? Would you help us? We were both over the age of 50 and in the best shape of our lives. I'm 55, he's 54. And this company was born. But here's the thing with that belief in ourselves. Because when we go into a situation, even weight loss, and we think we don't have the confidence in ourselves, we failed. We failed again and again. If you're like me, I failed at weight loss. I lost 45 pounds, but I lost it over and over again. Little by little, put it back on and just failed. I tried every diet I could think of. I failed. Of course, hormones were involved this time. It was harder than it ever was. And, you know, I was in perimenopause, went through menopause, but during menopause was when I conquered it. Isn't that crazy? The hardest thing I've ever gone through physically. And in that minute, in that time, not minute, in that time that I put in, I conquered this weight situation and have kept it off. And now I'm in the best shape of my life. But here's the thing with that cycle of low self-confidence and not believing in our own potential. We don't put forth the effort, right? And because we don't put forth the effort, we don't get the results that somebody else got, even though we could if we took the massive action. We don't get the results that they got. See, I took massive action this time. You can get those results if you do the same thing. If you want what I have, you simply have to do what I got. Or what I did. Will it take you a little bit different journey? It might. But you have to put it in. And you have to believe that you can do it, because I'm here, a failure. You just heard about all the stuff that I failed at. That's not all I failed at, believe me. And here I am, changing my life after the age of 50. So I want you to look at your life, and you probably aren't drinking every night and falling asleep in your clothes. You probably didn't just leave a 31-year relationship. You probably weren't failing every area of your life. I was. And I want you to look at your life, and I want you to stop for just a minute. And I want you to think about when you were your strongest. Maybe something came up. I talk to my clients. We have group meetings on Zoom every week, and I talk to them, and I ask them to share what are the times in their life where they found themselves to be stronger than they ever realized that they were. And in my life, I would have to say that when I was 51, I fought for myself, and I realized that I was stronger and that I had more potential than I ever believed. And I started fighting for myself. And so I want you to think about your life. And maybe something happened really bad to you, or maybe you were put in a bad situation. Maybe you had to fight against cancer, a cancer scare, or a disease like that. Maybe you had to take care of a parent. One of my clients, she couldn't have children, and she went through in vitro, and she thought she lost several children, and she'd lost them, and her heart was just broken. And then one day she got pregnant, and it stuck. She has the girls now. They're twin girls. They're 16 years old. And she is I think she's around 50 years old. She is so blessed. She said it was the hardest thing she's ever been through, but she found herself to be so strong. And she kept fighting and believing and believing. There's another woman in one of my clients. She was in a wheelchair. Actually, they called in her family, and they thought that her life was very soon to end. And they called her family in. They were also concerned about her. And now this woman is no longer in a wheelchair. She fought for her life. She's still fighting for her life, but she's taken her life back. She's out of the wheelchair. This woman lifts weights every day. She makes no excuses for her diet. She makes no excuses for her workouts. It's inspiring. She's close to 60, or she is 60 years old. Mind-blowing. She's stronger than she thought. Oh my gosh, and she proved it to herself. Amazing, amazing stories. Now, I want you to think about the time in your life, and there are times, maybe you feel weak right now, but I want you to think about the times in your life when you have been strong, when you needed to be. Maybe you had to fight for yourself. Whatever it was, I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how strong you were. Now, when you look at a little thing like weight loss, and maybe you failed at it again and again and again like I have, I want you to look at that thing and see how small in comparison that is to that other thing that you rose up to the occasion and you fought for and conquered. Weight loss, it might overwhelm us when we're going through menopause and we don't understand it, and it's frustrating. Daggone. I mean, it is frustrating. Hormones are going everywhere, and we start gaining all this visceral fat and everything else. But I want to tell you today, you are able to do what I have done. But the only thing limiting you is what you believe in your mind. I'm telling you the truth. If you put in the work that I've put in, you'll get the results I got. Will you look exactly, your body look exactly like mine? No, not at all. You'll look like you, but you'll be the best you. But here's the thing. We don't put in the work because we don't truly believe in ourselves. So we don't take the massive action. And then when we don't, we prove to ourselves we can't again. You see, I knew I couldn't do that. I knew I couldn't do that. Allie's different. Allie must have better genetics. Allie must know. I don't. I do not have better genetics. I do not. I promise you. Have you seen my previous pictures? I do not have better genetics, ladies. No. But here's the thing. Here's why I'm talking to you about this today. I want to see women rise up and believe in themselves, because here's the thing. When you think back on that story where you were so strong, and maybe there has to be multiple times in your life when you were so strong, I want you to think about that. I have women that come on in my program and they start losing weight. One of them, she went to write, her name is Gina. She's an amazing woman. Her testimony is crazy awesome. If you ever get a chance to hear it, it's on YouTube. Part of it's on YouTube. But she came on, she went to write her goal weight down. She went to write 165 pounds. Now she printed it out. She was going to write it down on a piece of paper, and then she took a picture of it and sent it to me. And she told me after she lost the weight, she lost 80 pounds, by the way. When she went to write down 165 pounds, she said that before her pencil even hit the paper, her mind said, you will never get to 165 pounds. 9 months later, she was at 135 pounds. 9 months later. Because this time she decided, she told me this when she came on. She said, I don't know if this is going to work for me because nothing ever has. But this time, I'm not going to quit. And she didn't. If that scale went up, and some weeks it did, she fought. She said, Allie, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting, Allie. I'm not quitting. And that weight moved down. She got to 60 pounds lost. And she goes, I'm going to keep going. She said, I can't believe I got here. I would like to lose another 20. I said, let's do it, Gina. She fought 135 pounds. She got down to, and she gave me an email one day, and she wrote us an email, and she said, it was a long email. Oh my gosh. Her marriage was just ready to be, they were done sleeping in separate rooms. And she said, in this email, she said, I don't know. She said, losing weight, and she hadn't lost the 80 pounds yet. This was just during her journey, and she started believing in herself. She started believing in herself and gaining self-confidence as she was losing weight. She believed, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And she hadn't even got to the 60-pound loss mark, and I get this email, and it's a really long one. And Wade and I are sitting in the bed reading this email, and we just both started weeping because it said, I'm going to fight for my marriage, and I don't know, I may get rejected. I don't know if my husband is going to reject me, but I want our marriage to work. I want it to work for our family, and please pray for me. And I just wept, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You're sitting on pins and needles thinking, oh my God, please let it work. Please let it work. Please let it work. And she fought for her marriage, and their relationship turned around. I got an email not too long after, maybe 3 or 4 months after that, and it said, Allie, I woke up this morning in bed with my husband with his arms around me. And I never thought it would happen. And she thanked me. I didn't have anything to do with it. It was her. She began to believe in herself. She began to have confidence in herself. She began to see her potential. And today, I'm right here in your face. And I want you to see your potential. That woman, Gina, she started running. Her daughters are in marathons. She said, I used to see him leave at the beginning of the race. And then she said, I'd go over to the end of the race. I guess she drove to watch them finish the race. But here's what happened. She decided that she would meet them at each stopping point. So they would go on the marathon, and she would take a shortcut to each stopping point. And she was at every stopping point that they had. I don't even know how the 5Ks and the 10, all that goes. So ignore me if I'm saying things wrong. But she would go to each spot and see them. There she'd see him, there she'd see him, there she'd see him, and then she'd be at the end. Well, she decided that was helping her. She was losing all this weight. Her energy's going up. She had the energy to do it. And then she decided that she's going to start running 5Ks. So her daughters that they were ready to graduate, started training her twin daughters. She had twins too. Started training her, and she is running marathons now. She's kept the weight off. I talked to her probably 6 months ago. She's lost 80 pounds. Her whole life has changed. Her marriage is restored. But here's what it came from: believing in herself. See, when we don't believe in ourselves, we don't take massive action. What is it going to take for you to see good results? Massive action. Putting your toe in the water and playing a little bit with it and, cutting back on certain things, that's good. That is good. That's a start. But I want you to take massive action. If you've been thinking about working with me, quit thinking. Do it. It's the holidays. Do it anyway. I would love to work with you. I have an open spot for you right now. Come work with me. Because see, this thing could change your life. Not only, it's not about just getting your body back and your health back. Thank God for that. Without our health, we have nothing, right? This is more than that. I work with only women 40 and up. And so many of us have settled in life and given up on ourselves. We've given up on ourselves. We said, I can't do that. I don't have the degree. I've never learned it. I hope there is an awakening of women. If I did it, girl, you can do it. I don't have any greater potential than you. I've not been to college. I failed math again and again. My business marketing people hated me at school. I mean, in my business math, I had business math or something like that. Hated me. My teacher hated me. I didn't like her either, but she hated me. And I just couldn't get it. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest person. Well, now my brothers are genius. I have 2 or 3 brothers that are geniuses. They have genius IQs. My mom's on here. She's going to laugh. But I remember asking her, she was telling somebody at church at the Kingdom Hall how their IQs were, and they were high, like these high numbers. And I remember looking at my mom in front of this other lady at church, and I said, well, Mom, what's my IQ? And I remember her looking at me and patting me on the shoulder of the head, and she goes, oh, honey, you're smart too. And I always tell that story and I laugh. My mom said she doesn't remember it, but I sure do. And that's the minute I realized I wasn't real smart. So I'm not the smartest person. I don't have the degrees. Learning how to lose weight and learning how to balance my hormones with food and all that was for lots and lots of study, lots of trial and error, and now I've got to help thousands of women all over the world. It's an amazing thing. But here I sit, I was very unqualified for any of it. Very unqualified, failing in every area of my life. And so I want to tell you, if you think you can't, you're wrong. You can. You remember how strong you were in those situations. And I want you to rise up and fight for yourself. Rise up and fight for yourself. Because you can do this. They say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Because the rich are practicing things that make them see success. Right? And when they see that success, it breeds more success. Well, if I did that, heck, I might try this. I could maybe do this. And so they become more confident in their ways that they make money. They're becoming richer and richer. They learn how to invest their money, how to use their money so that it brings them more profits. The rich become richer. The poor many times become poor. Why? Because the opposite is also true. They fail, struggle, fail, struggle, fail, struggle. Confidence in themselves, they see the failures. Well, I have failed. I have failed again and again. So they believe that they can't succeed financially, but they really can if they think differently about themselves. The weight loss thing. I had failed and I had failed and I had failed. I had starved myself to lose the weight. I had tried everything. I have just completely failed. I basically had given up because all I knew to do was to lose weight was to just basically almost eat nothing. It did not serve me. I felt awful. I had no energy. And you know what? I had to learn. And once I started seeing success, it bred more success. I started getting momentum. And see, that's what happens. That's what happened to Gina. She started seeing a little success. And she's like, I'm going to keep going. And when the scale didn't read what she wanted it to read, she thought, well, I did it before, so I'm just going to keep going. And she lost more weight, saw more success. The confidence in herself began to build. She lost 3 pounds, and then she lost 3 more pounds, and she lost 3 more pounds. And then it was easy to lose 3 pounds. She had confidence in losing 3 pounds, and she lost that 3 pounds so many times that it added up to 80 pounds. She had so much confidence she could do it. There was nothing stopping her. You couldn't tell her that she couldn't do it because she already knew she could. She had confidence. And I'm telling you, ladies, the same thing. You got to take massive action. You got to know why you're doing it, and you got to step up to the plate and just do it. If you want it, you can have it. You just got to do it. No special genetics here. If you look at my clients, they'll tell you the same thing. They have amazing transformations. And ain't a one of us have special genetics. None of us. And so if you want to look at some transformations, I've shown them on here before, but go to thebodgarage.com. That's our website. And if you want it and you can't find it, let me know and I'll send it to you. But it's thebodgarage.com, and look. Those women came on there. I'm going to tell you, I can't tell you how many of them, probably 95% say, Allie, you're my last resort. Or Allie, I've tried so much. I've failed at everything. I don't even know if this is going to work. Allie, I don't know that I can do this. And I'll tell you, you can if you want it. And what's cool is when you start seeing success, you keep going. And more success. And you keep taking that action, that massive action, like you're going to win. Because if you take action like that, you will win. You've got to take action, not kind of dip your toe in the water action, but real action. If Allie did it, I can do it. If Allie did it, I can do it. If Allie did that, I can do it. Allie is not more special than I am at all. There is nothing different between her and I. Allie was a failure. Again and again in every area of her life. If I did it, ladies, you can do it. But you've got to take massive action, and you've got to push yourself. You've got to believe that you can do it. Are you going to believe right away? No, but you've got to build that belief in yourself, and it comes step by step by step. And once you see yourself succeed small, then you'll keep pushing. Oh my gosh, okay, I did that. Let me see if I can do it again. Oh my gosh, I did it again. Let me see if I can lose that 3 more pounds. Oh my gosh, I've lost 9 pounds. Let me see if I can lose 3 more. Oh my gosh, this is easy. It's easy for me to lose 3 pounds. It'll be easy. You'll be so confident at it. Oh my gosh. You believe in yourself. That's how we build self-confidence in ourselves. And believe me, when you do that, just like Gina, it could change your entire life. Just like me, changed my entire life. So, I hope that you will take those steps. I hope that you will believe in yourself today. Thank you for those thumbs up. That's awesome. And I am so glad, Michelle, that you heard it and this really touched you tonight. That means a lot for me. I want to share, you guys, I want to share my successes with you, but I want to share my failures with you. Thank you so much. Because I want you to see that I'm just real like everybody else. There is nothing special here. And if I can do this, honey, there ain't nothing stopping you. There is nothing stopping you at all. You heard my testimony. You heard about the drunk that was on the bed every night, drinking until she passed out in her day clothes. You heard about the woman, that's me, the woman who couldn't even get a job at Lowe's. The woman who at age 51, took a job for $11.25 at Kroger ClickList and barely got 20 to 30 hours a week. And I was so thankful to have it. I'm 55 now and running a company that has clients all over the world. I have no marketing degree. I have no college at all. None. And I'm doing fitness, and I've never been into fitness. I've been in the gym in and out my whole life. I'm so glad you're listening, Shell. That's awesome. So I hope this tonight touched you, and I hope it sparks belief in yourself that you can do it. And I'll tell you what, if you need a coach that loves you, that encourages you, that believes in you, that fights for you, that doesn't just take your money and say, there you go, there's your diet. I'm a real coach, as you guys can probably see. I love what I do. I have a passion for it. I want to see you succeed. And if you want a coach like me in your life, come sign up and work with me. thebodgarage.com. Prices are low right now. We're going to raise them soon. So if you want in, come work with me. It'll change your life. You know, I hired a coach too. When I was getting ready to compete, I thought I was going to compete, never did. My diet was kind of and I was just kind of settled in. I'd lost the weight, but I still wanted to take it up a notch. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hire a coach. And you know what having a coach did? Holy cow, it took me to a whole new level. I had already lost the weight, but knowing I was going to have to turn my results into my coach, my weight, and she made me get in a bikini every Monday morning and take pictures. Whew, that was rough. I don't make my clients do that. So she did that every Monday morning, and I'd have to send him over to her, and she'd look at him. I'd be like, holy cow, you want to talk about commitment to my diet plan? It was out the roof. That's what having a coach does for you. That's what having accountability does for you. So I'm not only going to teach you how to help balance your hormones during menopause, how to lose the weight during menopause, all of that, but I'm going to coach you and I'm going to help you. And man, accountability brings you to a whole new level. And that's why we see so much success in this area. I'm going to let you go. I hope that this talk tonight has touched your life. I hope it's encouraged you. Thank you, Shell. I hope it's encouraged you, and I hope you will fight for yourself and that you realize just because we're over 40 doesn't mean life is over. Honey, my best life began after 51 years old. It began after 51 years old. Oh my gosh. There's so many stories about people who have changed their life after the age of 50. Colonel Sanders, he couldn't get anyone to even step in on his chicken. He couldn't. He went to over 100 stores and said, can I make the chicken and come in and I'll let you have the profits if you just let me bring my chicken in. He wanted someone to taste his chicken. At the age of 61, he finally succeeded. After going to over 100 businesses and basically saying, I'll give you all the profits if you just let me sell my chicken in your place. Did you know that about him? Lori, yes, I'm so glad you're listening. Yeah, hold your head high, girl. 52, your 50s can be some of the best years of your life and lead to even better years. Our life is not over. We have a great future and we have a great hope, right? So let's get it done. If you would love to work with me, I would love to work with you. I'm going to put my link below. I love you guys. I hope this has touched your heart and your lives. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for spending your night with me. Bye, ladies.